in California, and I am joined by my good friend and colleague, Kristin. Kristin, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Kristin Oropesa. I am the Education Marketing and Community Coordinator at Common Sense Education. And like Sue said, we are so excited to be here today.
And we always say that this is the most wonderful time of the year. This is like, Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving and all of our favorite holidays all rolled up into one. This is what we live for. We are so busy all week long at Common Sense and doing our best to share out and lift up all the great things that everybody is sharing, especially on socials. Kristin is, I don't know if you know this, but she is behind all of our social media handles. And so all those retweets, all those shout outs, all those shares, everything that we have, especially on Twitter, that's where I'm probably am the most active. That is all her. And so I said, all right, Kristin, what do we got going on this week? What are you sharing with the community? What is it that you're seeing? Come on and come and chat with us and tell us all about it. So yeah, that's why we're both here today to hey, Kim. So good to see you all. If you all are here with us, please put your name in the chat and tell us who you are and where you're coming from. And we're just so happy to see y'all here. So we're hoping today to share a little bit about what's going on with Digital Citizenship Week and what you all need to know about all the great events and all the great things that are happening, and give you some ideas about what you can do, about how to share, about how to get started. So Kristin, I have here this landing page image. What do we have on the Digital Citizenship Week landing page?
What don't we have? We have so much stuff up there this week. I think the big thing is our daily activity calendars. And I think that has been by far the most popular thing that I've been seeing educators getting into and just diving into this week and retweeting and sharing. This is an example. I think is that the middle school one?
I got the middle school one up because I
Yeah.
like middle school. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's daily kind of essential questions for each day of this week. We have a very quick 15-minute activity because we all know educators are busy and they don't want something else to add to their plate. So these really short, simple, quick activities are really cool to do if you've got 10, 15 minutes, right? And then we have the more in-depth lessons from our curriculum. And then we also have activities to share with parents and families. So we have these for each of our grade level spans, middle school, high school, elementary. So if you haven't checked them out, they're just really cool. And then we have a lot of other things going on, and especially with some of our partners and stuff like that.
I'm going to point this out. Like,
yeah.
we have a variety of different things. So like this one is just like a little coloring book. This one's a little song. This one's a a quick video. So on here, you'll see also kind of like what you're getting into there. That's what the icons are there for. So what were you going to say? You're talking about our partners and all the fun stuff we got going on with them?
Yeah, tons of events. For those of you who are on social media, you probably saw that we have been working with our friends over at Adobe for Education, and they created some really great things for us for this month's Adobe EDU Creative Challenge. That's been sharing on social media. People have been just so attracted to those hero cards and sharing those out. Tons of great, right, there we go. Great things. I think this is so great because we talk so much about students being creators rather than consumers of what we put out. And here are these great hero cards. You can customize, your students can customize. I had my little 6-year-old do one the other night and she loved it. So, even the little ones can engage and start being more reflective about their DigCit
all their footprints
habits,
and all the good things they do. Yeah. So we have, we have that listed on the, everything is found on that Digital Citizenship Week page, but we are also, of course, I'm all over the place here. All of these things we also have featured within the slide deck in case you wanted a direct link or in case you want to see what it is that we're doing. So especially, I love these hero cards. We are so thankful that our friends over at Adobe have created this challenge. And if you've ever done these before, I did one for ISTE. It's just a quick little digital template, and they just make it easy for you to like throw your picture in there and customize everything. And I don't know, it was fun to make. I am not the most creative. I am not the most talented. I am not a graphic design person. And even I made one, and it was not, it wasn't the worst. So yeah, you can see that we also have things going on this week. Kristin is hosting a Nearpod chat. For those of you who like to do Twitter chats, Kristin's got one going on with our friends over at Nearpod. When's that? That's tonight.
That is tonight. Yeah, that's at 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. East Coast time. So that's
I'm going to be doing
a little bit
webinar. I have a webinar going on for MSET, which is our ISTE affiliate out in Maryland, at the same time. We didn't even throw that one in here. There's just like nonstop, all kinds of exciting things going on. So I'm not even going to be into that Nearpod chat. But for those of you who are doing this after, and for those of you who are asynchronous, we have a flip that is going on right now and will continue to be up if you want to share. So Kristin made this flip, and it's got all kinds of cool people in there. There's the QR code for it. And what are we asking on that flip?
Just to share their DigCit wins. We've been doing, Common Sense has been in this space now for a decade. And I think over that time, technology, we've seen it firsthand being in the classroom. Technology has changed, practices have changed. And we know educators are doing some really great things in the classroom with educational technology and how they're teaching digital citizenship skills to students now, and so we're just asking educators to get on there and share some of, it doesn't even have to be a big DigCit win, just share a DigCit win. And we're using Flip, which is the best.
It's just fun. Don't even have to show your face, just do it. Yeah. And so all of these, I forgot to mention at the very beginning, you put a QR code or a bit.ly on here at the very beginning, didn't you? Yeah, let me go back to slide.
The page with our faces on it.
With our faces on it? All right, here it is. Okay, so this is the one with our faces on it. If you want any of these resources, all of these images are hyperlinked to all kinds of fun stuff in here. And so, yeah, this is where you'll find everything. So that is back on that slide. And then a couple other things I wanted to mention. I think I did something this week that was just so fun. And I had the pleasure of going to my local district, LAUSD. So I'm in Los Angeles, and I was able to go to one of our middle schools, El Sereno Middle School, and I was able to host a student panel with all of these fantastic middle schoolers that you see on that image. And I got to ask them questions. Well, before I sat them down on the panel, I insisted that I get to go and chit chat with them and hang out with them and make them comfortable as the person who's asking them questions. There were also no other kids in the room. It was all adults in the room. So they weren't their peers. It was just like parents and folks from, the district office. And so it was just all adults. I've done this many times at a parent event, is just hearing from the kids and asking them questions. And I also made sure that they knew that I was not there to put them on the spot and, give them a hard time or try to catch them in something, or they weren't going to get in trouble. This was because the adults in the room are genuinely curious about their thoughts and opinions and experiences. And we just wanted to understand them. Their opinions and their ideas matter so much to us, and that's why they're there. So that was what I emphasized to all of these students. They were all across the board, had varying interests and varying talents, but they were the best. And I asked them the questions that are on there, among many others. So asking them and everybody in the room, tell me, how many of you got up this morning using a cell phone alarm? And everybody had to raise their hand, including all the adults in the room, right? So how many of you actually sleep with your cell phones and use an alarm? How many of you checked your notifications first thing this morning, right? How many of you play music while you're getting ready for the day? How many of you played a game before you got here to school? And it was interesting to see the adults in the room who raised their hand and the kids in the room, right? That was sweet. And the question that they got most animated about was this one about, how do you feel about the cell phone policy and rules at your school? They each had something to say, and they all had strong opinions about it. And if you can ask your students, I don't think we do enough of this, asking them about their technology use, about their policies, about the ways that we as the adults in their spaces govern them, right? And give them the technology or give them rules about the technology. We don't hear enough from our students. And it was a great opportunity to have many folks in the room share, and listen and be able to ask some questions of their own, especially from a parent perspective about advice from these kids, because they were so wise. This was like by far my favorite thing that I've done this week, and hanging out with kids, man, that's just the
Yes,
best.
yeah.
So yeah. So I was going to give you one more slide here, Kristin, about things going on this week. What else do we do this week?
Yeah, we have a webinar this afternoon in just a little bit, 4 p.m. Pacific time, with authors Emily Weinstein and Carrie James. They're Project Zero researchers, and they've worked just so collaboratively with our organization over the last decade. And so they're coming in and they're going to talk about 10 years of DigCit Week, where we've been and where we're going. And that's happening this afternoon. And we're really excited about having them back and talking with us.
And just in case you didn't know, Carrie and Emily are at Project Zero. That is what we base all of the research. All of our lessons are based on the research that comes out of Project Zero. So if you are interested in what is the research background on how we develop the content and curriculum, if you're real nerdy about that and love research, these two are the ones for you, because they will give you all of the basis by which we develop these and how it has changed over the past 10 years. So that's happening like as soon as we're done here, right? So immediately, so at 4 o'clock.
In about 10 minutes.
Sorry, last one. Yep.
And then we also have another partner collaboration with our friends over at BrainPop. And we have a webinar tomorrow, and that's going to be happening, I believe it's at 3 p.m. our time, 6 p.m. East Coast time. And that should be another one. The QR codes for both of those webinars to register. Webinars are completely free to attend. They're right there on the screen if you want to grab them and get registered for these really cool events happening for DigCit Week.
Yeah, if that's your thing. We already talked about the hero cards. I'm just gonna say that one more time. These things are amazing. Grab those. And the other thing about all these things is just do them whenever you can. You don't have to do them immediately live. Some of these things like DigCit Connect, this is an event going on Saturday, and it has folks from all across the country, all around the world. It's ISTE and LAUSD partnering together to do a bunch of DigCit sessions. Again, free online. If this is your thing, jump in on Saturday, 9 to 1 Pacific time. The link to register is right there. I'm speaking for just a quick half hour about how to reach parents, and actually talking to parents. So families are invited too. So we've got these things going on, but it is all year long. This is one of the things that I'm going to talk about is this tips by text. So if your families are not already receiving tips by text on their phones, all they have to do is text the word kids to 21555, or you yourself, maybe you need these, or if you want them in Spanish, then you can text familia to 21555 as well, and you just get one tip a week. I got one today, right? You just get it straight to your phone. And of course the week culminates not just in that DigCit Connect, but Kristin and I are going in person to Fall Q, like so exciting. We'll be there in real life. And Kristin is talking about, what are you talking about at Fall Q?
Accessibility and UDL and all those great things that educators should and need to know about for teaching diverse learners in their classroom.
Yes. How does that connect with digital citizenship? What does that have to do with common sense? What does that have to do with anything? Does it?
A lot.
A lot.
Good DigCit skills, and just being responsible, respectful, and all of the good things.
Absolutely. Every kid needs UDL in their classroom. Every teacher needs to have an understanding of this. We want all of our content, all of the tools that we're using in the classroom, all the ways in which we're teaching and having students share and express all that stuff. It's yes, UDL and accessibility all over the place. Everybody should go to your session And then I'm also doing a session on SEL and digital life and digital wellness and how we're thinking about this in the classroom when it comes to the skills that our kids are using in the classroom. And then I'm also doing one with Equity in Action, talking about our PLN. Like we've been having all these great conversations at different spaces. I went to the Q session with yesterday, and it's clear that we need to find our own PLN and our own spaces to have these conversations and continue and dialogue together and learn from each other. And so we are talking about how to find your PLN, especially when it comes to civic action, especially when it comes to racial justice, especially when it comes to the change that you want to see in your systems and environment. So we're doing that session. Kristen's doing a session. I'm doing a session, and we're going to be there. Kim's going to be there. She's probably everybody's going to be there. So you should be there too. We're road tripping up to Stockton. It's going to be a party. It's going to be fun, and it'll be so much better in real life. I'm so excited. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to talk about in case you wanted the SEL skills and dispositions. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's all Castle based. And this is a great Google Doc that has links to all of these lessons for all these grade bands. So yeah, you got one more thing here about recognition?
We do. So, this is a great time of year to think about getting recognized for all of the work that you're doing in the classroom around digital citizenship. If you're teaching DigCit, especially, if you're doing the lessons this week from our curriculum, if you're trying some of those quick activities, you're already like halfway there. Our recognition program has been around since 2014, and it really helps educators create avenues to consistently, create these really positive cultures of tech and media use in the classrooms and school communities. You get a badge from our program. You get recognized. It's a really big deal. And then that eventually leads to, if you're interested and you want to pursue bigger and better things with our Common Sense Ambassador program, which is also, we have a deadline coming up at the end of this month. So if you're a Common Sense educator and you just want to do more, you love Common Sense, you want to spread that message on a larger platform, our ambassador applications are currently open and they close on October 31st.
There you go. Get it in before the end of the month. Well, all of this stuff, everything we're talking about can be found pretty much at the Digital Citizenship Week landing page, all that good content, a lot of our events, or, just follow us on Twitter. I'm sure Kristen will reach out with all kinds of good stuff and more beyond this week. All right. This is just the beginning. Launch yourself out. If you have any questions about how to get started or where to go, that is what we do. We do it on Twitter. We do it anytime we can, and we love to share. And we're just so happy to see you all wherever you are. We're so happy that you joined us today to hear all about what we do. So thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
I have questions for you both.
Yes, Jessica.
Of course. I want to spend as much time as I can with you ladies. So it is such an honor to have you guys here. You've said, this is just an exciting week, and exciting means busy, and busy means, you're tired, you're doing a lot. So we appreciate the time and the support that you're giving to our digital citizenship Zoom webinar events, and all the resources that Sue and Kristen have shared. I've been trying to follow along, get those bit.lys, get the QR codes. I've put a couple in the chat. I'm also putting those resources into the Wakelet that we have been utilizing this week, and housing resources from each of our guest speakers. So I'm adding those in the Wakelet as well, that you will receive as a follow-up, or if you have the email from yesterday or today, same Wakelet link. So back to Kristen and Sue. I have a couple of questions. So first, for Kristen, you have a Nearpod chat happening, and I would like to know more about your Nearpod chat. I've heard about Twitter chats, and I'm really curious on how you are bringing in the chat with Nearpod. So can you just tell us a little more about that and how we can get involved?
Nearpod is great. They're one of our partners, and last month we hosted another Nearpod chat, which is essentially it's a Twitter chat. And you can go on and you participate, or you can just watch and lurk. That's good too. We love lurkers. And follow the hashtag Nearpod chat. And they essentially, for those who are not familiar with Twitter chats, we'll pose a question, and we answer in like Q1, question one, answer one. And you can respond to these questions. It's a great way to talk to educators outside of your little sphere, of influence at the school or district level, and just talk and see what else is happening in classrooms. Our Nearpod chat this afternoon, we're talking about making DigCit a priority all year round, right? We know that it goes beyond this week, and it should be something that we're doing every day in the classroom. So our questions tonight will be around DigCit, and we're really excited, and we're asking some of our ambassadors to come and participate. So we're looking forward to it.
That's exciting. And tell us again what time tonight we can join or lurk.
It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And the great thing too about Twitter chats, although it's not officially, like, we're doing it live tonight, the questions are up there, and so if you don't have time tonight, you can always come back and you can participate slow chat style, and just get talking to people and other educators. So
that's excellent. I love those opportunities also to see who's in the same space as you. This is my first time actually meeting Kristin, but like Sue also, before I had a chance to meet her, we knew each other from social spaces, or at least I knew you. So it's really cool to find your people and find your tribe, kind of like Sue was saying, she's going to have a session with Equity in Action at Fall Q, but really finding other like-minded individuals, other educators who have that same mission, vision, and doing the same things as you are, or also just like picking their brains and getting inspired by others. So thank you for providing that opportunity with that Nearpod chat. So I will check it out. If you don't see a post from me, at least know I lurked.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing it.
I will be there. Wonderful. And then Sue, I wanted to ask you about the student panel. I think that's a really powerful thing, to let students have a safe space to voice their perspective and opinions, especially for things that are affecting them, affecting school policy, and ultimately they are the ones that are going to have to follow these rules. So I really enjoyed that. I like how you gave us the tip of making them feel comfortable prior to asking those questions. So do you have any tips or ways that we can maybe emulate this at our own school sites or at our districts?
Oh my goodness. I think my favorite thing is bringing in food. So like, sometimes I often do it in the evening, and I'll be like, select some kids. Part of it is like, you don't want your like superstar kids. Like, yes, of course, we just want a variety of kids that are representative, who have strong opinions and who are willing to share. Maybe not all are necessarily natural leaders, right? Like, so, but we want a variety of kids. Bring some pizza, bring some soda, sit down, have the moderator, just talk about some of those questions with them and figure out which of those questions is going to hit, right? Which ones grab them, and, come up with some questions that they are excited to share about. And they all know that they are being watched by the adults in the room. They're going to act accordingly. But what I wanted was something deeper than like, tell me how you, make sure that you are taking care of your digital footprint. I take care of my digital footprint by making sure I don't post anything inappropriate, right? Like, that's great. And then let's go deeper, right? Let's keep going here. Like, what does that mean to you? What are the pressures around that, right? Like, so we want to ask things that are not going to put them in a bad spot, but that are going to, help them share their feelings and the conflict that they have to deal with. But at the same time, they should feel good. You want your students up there to feel good about this share. It's fun.
I love that. And I'm sure I would be very surprised by some of the answers. Just thinking about, my teen years, preteen years, school age years, and how these students are growing up in a new time with Sophia Mendoza had mentioned how they are basically in two worlds, the digital world, the physical world. And, you know, when I was in school, I didn't have that. I only had the physical world to refer to because my phone was connected to my kitchen wall. So it's really great to hear their voices because they are the trailblazers for this to show us what they need and what they're experiencing so we can try to enact what policies and rules that meet those needs. So thank
They
you
are
very much
fascinating and they are insightful and they are just wonderful. And it's great to listen to them. They need to be in the room. Yeah.
Yeah. And also how you brought in how tech it encompasses their lives as well, even their morning routine, using your cell phone to wake up. And so knowing that our students do rely on tech and it is part of their life, but using that in a healthy way and a way that we can help them to use, you know, to be good digital citizens and have that good digital presence, because we know they're gonna, you know, they have that digital world that they live in. And then I was going to ask a little more about the Common Sense Decade of Digital Citizen, DigCit. Can you tell us a little more about that webinar? And also, I believe that's the one that's happening today, right now.
Right now. Yep.
So since we're in this space right now and people who will be listening to the recording later, obviously that time will have passed. If we sign up for that, will we receive a recording or will there be access? Can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, it's recorded. It's available on YouTube. It's going out live right now with everybody. It's kind of more of a watch party right now where everybody's watching it together, but it will also be available afterwards. And you can see Carrie and Emily share their ideas afterwards as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to find out more about the ambassador applications that are open and also the recognition. So anyone who's interested in that, can you kind of give them a little more information or maybe point us to where we can go to find more information?
So we have on our website, we have a page for recognition. If you're interested, we have 3 kind of tiers in the recognition program. We have our Common Sense educators, we have our Common Sense schools, and we have our Common Sense districts. And all that entails, we have these really cool, what we call the roadmap. And if you're interested in pursuing recognition, the roadmaps are great tools for individual educators to get started, for schools to get started for recognition. And it just kind of lays the framework for what we asked of our applicants, which is just basically to teach a DigCit lesson, many of which are being taught this week, to share a resource with families, to attend some sort of professional learning opportunity, whether that's a webinar, whether that's participating in the Twitter chat, you know, all these, anything involving DigCit. And then we also ask them to provide like a brief reflection about digital citizenship in their school or classroom. And that's essentially the gist of applying for recognition. Now that process, our recognition process is open year round. So you can apply now, you can apply in February to get recognition. And it's currently a 2-year program. So you apply this year and it's good through 2024. And then our ambassador program is an annual cohort, and it's for those common sense educators who are just looking to do more and really share, you know, what they're doing in the digital citizenship space with just a wider audience. These are people who might be presenting, you know, at conferences and talking about DigCit, hosting Twitter chats, just, you know, sharing everything that they're doing within their school communities to further, you know, digital citizenship. And that is an annual program, and applications are open now and through the end of this month. We have our first cohort orientation in November. And we usually start recruiting for the following school year sometime at the end of the school year. So June, July, August.
That's excellent, because we could take that momentum that we're building this week and the excitement around digital citizenship, and then pull that through to make sure that we're not losing what we are getting hyped up about right now, and also being sure that we're implementing some of those strategies. So speaking of strategies, with digital citizenship, what are some suggestions for just getting started, like a teacher who isn't really sure where to even begin?
I always point, well, this week I am pointing people to the DigCit week calendar, right? So there are those little 15-minute sessions that are on, each of your calendars. And so just pick one. It's 15 minutes. Just get started. Just try something out and seeing what happens. If you, a lot of them are video based, where I, as a teacher, am not necessarily doing that direct instruction. I am watching a video with my students, and we are all kind of answering questions together. You, as the teacher, are not necessarily expected to know all about social media and all about all the answers, right? You have to be curious. You just have to be interested in the lives of your kids. You have to be willing to build a relationship with your students and genuinely, really be curious about what they do on their phones, how they live their lives. And that's where it all starts. It's just about trying to understand our kids better and figure out how to support them. And it's these videos or these questions or these scenarios that just kind of launch the conversation. And it doesn't have to be a huge investment. It's just hey kids, we're going to try this out today and just see what happens, right? It's not supposed to make anybody feel awkward. It's about, we're all going to tackle this dilemma together and try to figure out what's the right, what's the wrong. I genuinely want to hear from all of you. So if you're the kind of teacher who cares about your kids, and I hope you all are, if you care about your kids and you're curious about the things that they do with technology, you got, 95% of the things that you need right there. Just, add in a little resource, shake it all up and see what happens in your classroom.
I love that.
Does that sound easy? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'll say as an educator, I was in the classroom for 14 years teaching special education, and my first introduction to common sense was through their videos, and that's what we pushed out for students. And like Sue said, they're great starting points and discussions, for students who are just getting into digital citizenship and who may not have had any formalized curriculum or anything like that previously. I also think we do a really great job at giving and providing resources for families, because digital citizenship is not something that just sticks in the classroom. It happens in the home too. And so being able to provide digestible resources for parents who may not be familiar with technology, right? I think that is just really key to get it on both fronts, school and home. And we have tons of those resources on our website.
That's a great point as well.
Offer parents anything. And I feel like they feel so, just as teachers do, right? Feel so overwhelmed and lost in a lot of ways. And they just want some resources. They want someone to feel like they understand what it is they're talking about. They want some support. And if you walk in and say, oh, is your kid playing Roblox? Oh, is your kid, are you afraid that they have too much screen time? Whatever you think the issue, you see what's going on as a teacher in your classroom, and what your kids are doing, send home some resources related to what your kids are talking about to families. And it's not a judgment. It is not a here, I'm trying to do your job for you. It is very much a hey, here's some things that might be helpful for you, right? It's just support of parents, especially if you can do it in a way, if you have Spanish speaking parents, we have tons of Spanish language content. We also have stuff in 8 other languages, right? For tips and just trying to throw parents some support and that's where it all begins, for them to know that you are supporting their kids in this way and you all need to be partners together in this. That's the best.
Well, we greatly appreciate it. Speaking of support, all of the resources as well that you have been able to send our way, so that way we can continue digital citizenship not only this week but also to the remainder of the school year. And then I think Kristen had said, being recognized for the year coming up. Appreciate all of the webinars and different different websites, things for teachers as well as parents, so that we can help our students and help our children be able to be empowered digital citizens. So any last closing remarks or thoughts, tips, tricks, or words?
I guess I would just say that, you know, like digital citizenship, as we know, I know Sophia Mendoza covered some of this. Like, we're not telling our kids about the things that we don't do online. We really are trying to give them the tools and the resources they need. Just as in that student panel, we want to hear them. We want them to have all the support that they need to feel like they have control. And we want to give them the ability to have that control over their own digital lives, over the ways that they feel when they use technology. It really is about helping our students examine themselves, look around and see what's going on in their world, including their friends and family, including in their greater world that they see, and figure out a way to do something that makes them feel good, that makes, that makes the change that they want to see. Like, that is what we're trying to do here. It's not just about hiding in a hole and putting our kids in a rubber room. It is about giving them the tools and the power that they need to shape their own lives for the better, and to be informed and to be thoughtful about that. And so that is the point. That's what we're trying to do. And, I think hopefully we're able to give some resources to get you started on that path, and be able to give you, some of the things you need to help with your kids, to help support your kids to do that.
I couldn't agree more, Sue. And, just in that respect, having like the resources and stuff, I also think, Jessica, you mentioned it, like digital citizenship, like goes beyond just a week in October, right? It's something we should be thinking about daily in our classroom. And it's something that should be, considered an entire school community effort, because these kids oftentimes come in, we have kindergartners, coming into the classroom and using devices for the first time, and technology isn't going to go away, and it's just something that's going to build and have, they're going to have greater access to. And I think teachers and families alike need the resources, and we're lucky, Sue and I, working at this organization that provides all of that, for free for educators, and yeah.
We are lucky. We are lucky. I love it.
Well, we were lucky to have you two both here sharing your wisdom, sharing tips, sharing resources, and helping us out to get motivated to help our students be good digital citizens. So thank you very much, Sue and Kristin, and thank you to everyone who joined us or who is watching this recording. There's also a wakelet of resources that are housing all of the links that Kristin and Sue shared. And then you can follow us on Twitter with hashtag SBCSS DigCit2020, 22. So hashtag SBCSS DigCit22. So we appreciate it. Come back tomorrow. We will have socially responsible online gaming with Brandon Loudon from Start GG. And we will also have our very own esports consultant, Kermit Boyd. So we will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you, Kristin. Thank you, Sue.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.